You're listening to the Trade Show Insights Podcast, Season 12, Episode 4. I'm your host and exhibit marketing strategist, Marlis Arnold, bringing you tools to improve your exhibit results. On today's episode, brought to you by the Exhibit Marketers Cafe, we're talking about audience personas. What are they and why you should care? This week's ExpoChat was all about creating and using attendee personas. And while we had a lively discussion, as you can see in the transcript, which there's a link in the show notes, there was a very valid point raised at the end. Why aren't more people participating in this chat? Good question. I think the answer might be that until this week's chat, many people in the trade show world weren't familiar with the term buyer personas. If you're one of them, consider this your Personas 101 tutorial. Okay, so let's begin with a basic definition of what a persona is. Some people think it's the same as audience demographics, but that's only a small part of it. Actually, it's a composite profile of your ideal prospects and buyers that may include some demographics like age and location, but it goes way beyond that by including your target audience interests, challenges, behaviors, and motivations to buy. If you've ever explored the options in Facebook advertising, you can see how much they drill down to create a custom audience based on interests and likes. Really, think of it more like a fictionalized personality profile. It should read like a story or biography of that ideal person. Because let's face it, every audience is made up of individual people. Now, while having this profile is important, no matter whether you're a show organizer or exhibitor, it will help to understand who you're talking to so that you have the ability to tailor your messages and offerings based on their needs and behaviors. You can personalize everything to your various personas or audience segments until you've crafted a message that makes them say, "It felt like you were talking just to me." So how do you develop this kind of profile? Well, a good place to start is by looking to your existing customers for trends. Ask your sales team what they hear from customers that they talk with on a regular basis. You could even interview key customers to uncover likes and dislikes, as well as their goals, preferences, and challenges. You want to get into their head. What makes them tick? What keeps them up at night? Define their role and responsibility in their job, and what gaps need to be filled in order to be more productive. What level of decision-making responsibility do they have? How do they prefer to access and receive information? Online, mobile, print, whatever. And who are their trusted sources for that information? Basically, you want to craft a day-in-the-life portrait of that person and what they're facing. You can even give your persona a name to humanize them and make it easier to remember. So for example, here's one of my audience personas. Sarah is a show organizer, age 35 to 50, who may have an assistant or two, but is tired of going it alone, feeling isolated and frustrated. She's ready for a fresh perspective and willing to take action to get the show out of a rut and grow, but doesn't know where to turn. She doesn't have the time or desire to sift through the mountain of ideas, trends, and innovations out there. She wants to build a loyal exhibitor and attendee following, but needs to streamline and maximize her team's efforts to do more with less. You want to narrow your focus to really zero in on that specific person. Don't worry, you can have more than one persona, but experts recommend no more than 3 to 5. And if someone falls outside that key description, it doesn't eliminate them from being a potential new customer if they still self-identify with your marketing message. So now that you have this profile, what do you do with it? Well, think of Amazon and some of the other online retailers. They use it to personalize communications and customer experiences. Sometimes the messages are almost scary accurate in the language they use. Now, this doesn't mean that you want your audience to feel creeped out when they hear from you, but it definitely helps to speak to them in a way that they can relate to. As one of my business mentors says, enter the conversation they're already having in their head. Know what objections they're already thinking of and address them before they can even ask. Taking the time up front to understand your audience will not only help you connect with them before, during, and after the show, but will also help turn them into loyal fans and repeat buyers. Want more tips and tools for your exhibit marketing? Check out the free resources available from the Exhibit Marketers Cafe. Simply go to tradeshowinsights.com and click on Free Resources to discover toolkits, webinars, and more, including a link to sign up for the Trade Show Tips online monthly e-zine. Trade Show Insights is protected by the Creative Commons copyright license. You may feel free to share this recording with colleagues or embed it on your own blog as long as it's shared in its entirety and is not used for commercial purposes. To learn more, please see the link in the sidebar of the show notes at tradeshowinsights.com. Well, that's it for this episode of Trade Show Insights. Be sure to check out our show notes and archives at tradeshowinsights.com. You can also connect with me using the social media links or the contact page on the site. I'm Marlis Arnold. Thanks for listening, and be sure to join us next time for more tools to improve your exhibit results.